Fenn's final solution. 7 years ago, I met a gentleman who claimed he was a retired pilot for the United States Air Force who had achieved the rank of major and was awarded the Silver Star for his service in the Vietnam War, where he flew 328 missions. Our conversation turned to my father, who was a sergeant in the Vietnam War, and then introduced himself as Forrest Fenn. At the time I had no idea who this person was, but I had a deep level of respect for him. Mr. Fenn had given me a lift into a small town in Wyoming. I was helplessly broken down in my motorhome. At the time cell phones didn't work that well in that part of Wyoming. Life, women, and drugs had taken me on a trip across the country. As a writer, sometimes you have to travel away from what you know, to find yourself. I wanted to see the Grand Canyon. I had thought that its vastness would enlighten me, inspire me in the way it had many great writers that had kicked up the dust of the plains before me. Mr. Fenn was the first person I had come in contact with for a few days. He laughed a little and told me he had worked on a few stories of his own, but they were no big deal. He grabbed me by the arm, and said, "I can't help you with your story, but I can tell you a secret. But you have to promise me one thing: take your time before you tell anyone." I didn't know what to say, thinking to myself, what was this crazy old man about to tell me? After all, he picked me up on a back road in Wyoming. At least we were in town, I thought to myself. I know how this sounds, and you're a little confused. I can see that, so let me buy you a cup of coffee and tell you a tale. As he did this, he reached over into the glove box and pulled out a box of 35mm slides and an old newspaper. The image of buried bodies in the desert crossed my mind. After all, he was well built for his age, and I could see a person like this swinging a tomahawk at lost travelers. The old man bought me a 50-cent cup of coffee and we both sat down at a little diner tucked away in Cody. Let me cut to the point: you need to get your motorhome fixed and I need to get on down the road. This is about something I have hidden, a treasure. Now I am not going to tell you where it is, and after speaking with you, I think you will do what is right. I wanted to leave something behind, leave a mystery, something like the Lost Dutchman mines. I fear I will be forgotten, and this is the way I need to leave a mark behind. My mark behind. I explained to him I had written a few stories about the Little Bohemia Lodge in Mercer, Wisconsin, and the Thomas Bale cipher, little side stories that made me a few dollars from Reader's Digest. I am the kind of guy that loves to write about them, but I don't think I have the determination to hunt them down. Mr. Fenn pushed the box of slides across the table and the old newspaper, looking at me as he did, and said, "This is the final solution to my puzzle. Take this and forget about it, and one day you will know what to do with them." Mr. Fenn spoke a little more about Vietnam and the mistreatment of veterans, and he got up and left. I got my motorhome fixed and went on my way. The slides ended up in one of my travel bags until the other day. Now I don't know if the person I met that day was the real Mr. Fenn that hid a treasure somewhere in the West. My health prevents me from looking, and to be honest, I forgot all about that day until I saw a special on TV some time ago. So I provide his final solution, to you, the contestant treasure seeker and believer of wonderful things. Here are a few of the photos that were on the slides. I will post the rest as soon as they are printed. Also inside one of the second 35mm slide box was a cut 2-carat diamond. Somewhere out there, one will find riches while others will find dreams.